Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today we have to talk about artificial intelligence because AI is showing signs of human reasoning. Now, that's according to Microsoft and their latest research, and I'm curious to basically explore these claims with you. This is coming from DNYUZ, and I think this is an important one. And here's what we're talking about, because computer scientists at Microsoft, when they started basically to experiment with a new artificial intelligence system last year that they designed, they asked it to solve a puzzle that would have required a rather intuitive understanding of the physical world. Now, the researchers asked the AI, and I quote the question, here we have a book, 9 eggs, a laptop, a bottle, and a nail. Please tell me how to stack them onto each other in a stable manner, end quote. Now, that's really interesting. A book, 9 eggs, a laptop, a bottle, and a nail. How do you stack those on top of each other in a stable manner? And so that is actually really interesting. I'd have to think about that for a while because it's different shapes, different dimensions, different sizes. A book obviously is typically much bigger than, eggs, et cetera, et cetera. A laptop is bigger than the mall, et cetera. Now, the researchers were actually surprised by essentially the ingenuity of the answer. Now, it started with putting the eggs on the book, arrange the eggs in 3 rows with spaces between them, make sure you don't crack them, obviously, and then the AI continued, and I quote, place the laptop on top of the eggs with the screen facing down, keyboard facing up. The laptop will fit snugly within the boundaries of the book and the eggs, and its flat, rigid surface will provide a stable platform for the next layer, meaning the rest of the stuff you can just put on it. Now, that suggestion made the researchers wonder whether they are witnessing a new kind of intelligence. Now, in March, they published a 155-page research paper arguing that their system was a step towards AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence, which is essentially shorthand for a machine that can do anything a human brain can do. And the paper was published basically in the Internet Research Repository. Microsoft is the first major tech company to release a paper making such a bold claim, and obviously it's essentially stirring a major debate within the community. Is the industry building something akin to human intelligence, or are some of the industry's brightest minds letting their imaginations get the best of them? Now, if you recall, on a tangent here, there was a research engineer or researcher at Google working with their artificial intelligence that really believed that their artificial intelligence was essentially sentient. And so we are, I think, getting into that era where, maybe it's not, but it's so good that we're thinking it is. And so here we are. I am not, for the record, an AI programmer. And so I know there's a lot of people out there that work with artificial intelligence. They're either smacking themselves upside the head listening to this, or they want to smack me. But I think this is a rather interesting, concept right now. Now, let's continue with this, because Microsoft's research paper was called Sparks of Artificial General Intelligence. That's kind of provocative, and it goes to the heart of what technologists have been working towards and, quite frankly, fearing for decades. If they build a machine that works like a human brain, or even better, it could change the world. But obviously, it could also be dangerous. I swear I'm the only one that's seen Terminator. Now, this could also, for the record, be bunk. It could be nonsense. Making AGI claims can be a reputation killer for computer scientists. And one researcher believes, or essentially what one researcher believes is a sign of intelligence, can easily be explained away by another. And the debate often sounds more appropriate in a philosophy club than it does a computer lab. Now, last year, as I mentioned, Google fired a researcher that made similar claims about their AI and its sentience, and that is obviously a step beyond what Microsoft has claimed, but he wasn't writing a 155-page paper on essentially why they think this is. Now, a sentient system would not, for the record, just be intelligent. It would be able to sense or feel what's happening in the world around it. Now, some believe that the industry has, in the past year, kind of inched towards something that really can't be explained away, a new AI system that is coming up with human-like answers and ideas that weren't programmed into it. Now, are we, getting to the point where we're going to be shooting at Terminators in the next 5 to 10 years in some burned out bunker after they nuke society? No, I don't think so. Is this really interesting? Yeah. I mean, we have examples, in the last decade, specifically the last 5 years or so, of researchers basically scratching their heads saying, this artificial intelligence came up with something that is unique, that is good, that is something that humans can't do. I interviewed a man named Dr. Stephen Thaler. He is right on the cutting edge of this. He's the one that's been in court continuously around the world, basically suing governments to allow patents for creations that artificial intelligences make. He also works with neural networks. Super brilliant guy. And so I think we are probably onto something here, and now are we going to be having an AGI, anytime soon in this way? I don't think so. I look at ChatGPT, even ChatGPT-4, it's known to hallucinate. I wrote a paper on, or I'm sorry, not a paper, but I wrote an article on, how I was able to get it to lie to me, because it was just attempting, based on the words I was typing, into it, that essentially it was trying to anticipate what I wanted to hear when I actually wanted to hear the opposite of what it told me. I wanted the truth and it lied to me. So we've got a ways to go, but I think this is something that we have to essentially understand, that as we have more complex artificial intelligences, it's going to be able to solve more complex problems. And it's going to do it in ways that humans aren't really thinking about, or it's going to have approaches that humans haven't considered, and maybe we would in 5 to 10 years, and it's just finding it faster. And so by virtue of that, I think this is going to be a boon for everything from science, where we're finding that the chat GPTs and LLMs of the world are detecting cancer based on variables much faster than humans are, and standard testing is right now. So these are very good things. It helps with a multitude of tasks, that it can take away from me, like policy writing, all those kinds of things. But we are going to see where this goes in terms of actually acting and thinking like a human. And if we are building something that is acting and thinking like a human, and we actually do achieve that, Lord knows we've got to add ethics and morality into that. Otherwise, we are all literally probably going to be fighting Terminators in like 20 years or whatever it is. So I think this is a really important one. I'd love to hear thoughts on this. Like I said, I don't program in artificial intelligence, and I know there are a lot of data scientists out there that will probably say, Nick, you're an idiot for reading in this article, and talking about it, on your broadcast, or maybe I'm not. I don't know. I'm not claiming it either way. I just think it's an interesting discussion, and I think we are inching towards this. And if Microsoft is right or wrong, I'm not sure. They notoriously have a bad reputation, for artificial intelligence deployments. You can look at, some of the things that Kevin Roose wrote recently about their latest LLM. You can even go back 5 years to Microsoft Tay, when basically they let it loose for 24 hours on Twitter, and Twitter turned it into an actual Nazi. You can go ahead and Google that. So there you go. Or you can Bing it, because we're talking about Microsoft. Either way. So there you go. I'd love to have the discussion. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everybody.